on Facebook. The banks look at Facebook. Why do people go like this in Facebook? Why do they do that? Because they want to fit in, because all the other monkey, mongoloid, idiot, fucking shitbags go like that. What's that supposed to mean? Other than you're fucking retarded. But everybody in this room's done it. So don't give me that look. And don't say, no, not me. No, I'm a Colombian. I got huevos. Fuck you. I'm tired of that shit. You've all done it. And you've allowed your kids to do it. There's somebody in this room, your kids have been bullied on Facebook. I guarantee it. Why you allowed it? I would have gone and metaphorically killed the other person. And everybody in their family. Now, how many relate to Josh, if any? Well, then I look forward to seeing all the zeros on your fucking, your results. But he's gone through a lot of people. He's gone through, and he, not just kids pick the wrong people. Adults, real adults with gray hair pick the wrong people. The kids are quicker to pick and quicker to change your mind. The adults are slower to pick and slower to change your mind. But all of you, depending on which end of the continuum you are, the young end or the old end, give too much benefit of the doubt. You give them too much wiggle room. You give them, well, maybe he had this or that. This is not that game. Remember what Carnegie did to his mentor. Cut him loose. Yes, ma'am.
Did he change all his board members or just chairman?
No, he's been 3 chairmen, 3 CEOs, 2 or 3 CFOs.
So what you're saying is right now he needs more somebody can help him to operate more than actually the resume.
No, well, in his particular case, when you're that age, in his first acquisition, the banks are reluctant to see that think that he's the operator, so they want somebody with real operating expertise to sign on the note. That's why he had guarantors.
What do you think of the term hire slowly, sack quickly?
Pardon?
Have you heard of the term hire slowly?
Yeah.
Sack quickly?
Yeah, sure, yeah. And that's exactly what the Google, the Facebook, and the old Microsoft methods when they 10, 12, 15 interviews. Hire slowly, carefully, but you can't sack quickly now. Unless you set up the contracts like I alluded to in that little film, it's pretty hard to sack people. And if anybody that's got a human resource portion of your company will tell you by law that you give them three strikes minimum, meaning 3 errors, 3 mistakes. You have to have a written warning and go through all this shit. I drag them off the site and hit them with a brick behind a building. The only time they know something's happening when they see the brick coming down on their head. None of this warning shit. Good news isn't the fastest to travel in a business. It's bad news. You give him a reprimand. He can't keep his fucking mouth shut. He tells every swinging dick in the company. Or he tells 2 people that he knows will tell every swinging dick in the company. He goes home and cries to his wife, his girlfriend, his mother. Pretty soon it's on Facebook that he got reprimanded. How is this possible? I'd be embarrassed if I was reprimanded on a job. Well, when I was a kid, I'd be embarrassed. My dad would find out, you knocked the fuck, you didn't do your job? I'm going to beat you like a fucking rented mule. I'd be embarrassed. Now they put it on Facebook, you know. If you write up the personnel contracts and employment contracts correctly, you don't have that problem. You just don't have it. And the UK's got as tough a labor laws as anybody. And where he works, he's in a right-to-work state, which means loosely is that you don't really have to have a reason to fire people. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have reasons to fire people. That's not what I'm saying. So don't misconstrue that. But you should not be apprehensive, afraid, or worried about firing people. That's part of the system. That's part of the system. And you shouldn't be happy about it. I'm still not happy about it when I terminate people. But it's not, again, like I said yesterday, it's not the people you terminate that hurt your business. It's the people you don't terminate that hurt your business. And your EU labor laws, the UK aside, EU labor laws are tough. But you can still do it if you do it like I suggested. Now, some of the people that you have, you're hiring, they won't go on a 30-day contract. They might go on a 6-month contract because that's kind of the norm. You can go on a 6-month contract to decide whether it makes sense for you to work with us and us to work with you. But then to go on another 30-day contract, they'll say, and you have to lay it out. You don't just a 30-day contract and then you don't tell them, and then one day later, now we got a 5-month contract. No, you got to lay it out, and you have to sign a piece of paper. I understand the employment process, blah, 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 blah. Initial all the fucking sentences, initial the pages. And then when you go to court, they'll say, that's not my signature. They'll lie. That's not my signature. Or I was forced to sign it. I was afraid he bullied me into signing it. But at least you got his signature or her signature. If you don't have any of those signatures, you just might as well give them the money because you're going to lose in court. It was yep.
What about making them re-interview when you open the new company for that business? Even though
well, no, you're hiring. You've already got the business when you're hiring people. Okay. Now you're talking about the board.
They're shutting it down when they are selling it because you're not.
Well, no, the business does not cease to function. When let's say the business has been around 20 years and we're buying it in October, and the business sales and purchase agreement is effective yesterday, Friday. And you're taking over Monday, it's the same company. It's still functioning. It's still producing revenue, but except the profit and the loss and the liabilities transfer from the old owner to you. But but right now, I mean, people, as I mentioned on Monday, or not Monday, the first day, that if you get out of University of Pennsylvania, your average salary is $67,000 a year. After you pay $240,000 for a degree. But that's not just that school. All the big schools are the same, and then they can't get a job. Now, I personally think the kids don't work hard enough. Work hard enough meaning looking for the job. I think they do it like they lead the rest of their life. They're doing it part-time. They're fucking around. A lot of kids take what I've just learned to find out. It's called a gap year. Between undergraduate and graduate, or even between high school and college. Yeah.
Then what happens once you exit out with the companies and the big equity fund takes them? Like, do they keep running them forever? Like,
it depends. That's a good question. A lot of times, let's say you exit. Let's make it small. $100 million. You got 20 acquisitions. You exit $100 million 4 years later. Okay, and as opposed to a strategic. You exit to a private equity firm. A private equity firm has in-house directors for healthcare, for construction, everything. They're going to replace almost everybody on your board, if not everybody, almost everybody. And they will require you to stay around 1, 2, or 3 years. And most private equity exit prices are based on earnouts. They don't tell you that. Oh, we're going to give you $100 million. We're going to give $25 million now and $75 million over the next 3 years based on hurdle rates.
what's that?
Well, most people won't even ask that, but that's a good question. Hurdle rate is what their return on investment is going to be per year. So if they say you need to have a 20% hurdle rate, that is high. That's super high. But you got $25 million in your pocket, so you're greedy, fuck, well, I can do this for the next 3 years, and you can't. So the only money they ever wind up paying you is $25 million. $25 million. You want a hurdle rate of 2%. Because you look like 2% guys to me. You ought to be able to have 2% on the fucking assets. 20% is, it's sky high. Most of them are going to ask between 10, 12%, and that's still a high hurdle rate. But they're not going to just give you the money. But the money that you got up front is yours. And since you started with nothing and you got 25 million now, you put in zero, 25 million on zero, the return is infinite. So from infinite means it's forever. I mean, there's nothing higher because you didn't put up any money. I get teased because I put up $820. So my cost basis in Great Western Shares was 0.000082 cents a share. Okay, which is nothing, right? But the directors' cost basis was 0. Because I put up $820, which is nothing, but they put up less than nothing. They put nothing. So the return on their time investment was infinite. And the guys on my board, and boards, not just that board, were smart. They said they knew they were getting, there's a saying here in the UK, money for old rope or money for old soap. Now, when you're in the shower and there's a bar of soap that's all worn down and it's got pubic hairs on and all kind of shit, right? Okay. They're getting money for old soap. They're getting money for nothing. All they have to do is, if they don't have dementia, early onset dementia too bad, all they got to do is go back and recall some shit to be able to keep you on the playing field and get you across the goal line for stuff that they've learned 20, 25 years ago, which is nothing, which is money for old soap. And so that's why we have such a dramatically high response to when we look for these directors with free founders equity. Free founders equity, they just, and now you don't talk, some of the kids have said, I'm paying you for nothing. You don't say that. Or you're not, this is money for old soap. You don't say that. But it's somewhere in the boilerplate, it is because some of the kids have written it out, Yeah.
Would you ever offer hurdle rate to the motivated seller?
Yeah, well, to keep him, yes. I didn't call it a hurdle rate, but that's exactly what it is. Remember, you're doing $1 million a year business a year, and we want you to stay a year, and we'll pay you 15% for every dollar over $1 million. So that's a hurdle rate, but it's not tied to a percentage. Now, when they underestimate all, because the human nature normally is optimistic. They think that a hurdle rate in percentages is less threatening to them than a hurdle rate in dollars. In other words, you get 15% for every dollar. Okay, well, shit. Well, that's $1. That means I get 15 cents. That's easy for them to calculate. But when you say 15% hurdle rate, you'll get such and such amount over. That it's better not to put it tied to a percentage, but it's better to tie it to just a dollar amount because they can relate to the dollar amount more readily. It doesn't sound as threatening to them when you say they're going to get 15% of every dollar over the base of $1 million that they had when you bought the business. And they will, if they came to the office before at 10 and rolled out at 3, they're going to start coming to the office at 8. And they're going to be there, till 5. And it's very, it's good motivation for the rest of the employees to see the former owner who's exiting there working. It's good. It's also good for customers, and it's mandatory for patients and people that have those kind of practices. It's absolutely mandatory. You can't be buying practices without the turnover from the doc. I mean, you're pissing in the wind. Yep.
For the home health care, for the people, the technicians, therapists going to...
That's home health we're talking about.
Right.
What he's doing.
Right. I believe in California state, they're all employees, so I need to have workers coming in. Is that correct?
No. This is Nevada and in Illinois, for the most part. No, it depends on the state. Normally they're going to be 1040, which is not W-2. 1040, meaning you're hiring them as a contractor. There's no withholding, no this, no that, no insurance, no benefits. When they're half dead, you kick into the curb. 1099. That's what I'm trying to say. 1099.
But who isn't a 1099?
No. Well, in his particular, they're almost all, except for the office administrators, they're almost all 1099. And and one of the things he pointed out, rightfully so, you don't need a big office. I mean, you will get office space as you acquire these businesses. In almost all the companies, not 100%, but a vast majority have too much office space and too many employees.
Yeah, I just did a business deal with a Chinese company. He lives in Australia, and I said to him, he's got a mentor who's a senator, ex-senator of Australia, and he's doing a stem cell and getting the clients from China. And I said, you can use my business. You can use my business with free rent. So he gives me the patient. He gets some money. He gets the money. I get money out of it. I said, you can use my clinic. He goes, no, your clinic's not. It's good, but not good enough. So we went up the road, $180,000 a year, and then cost him $600,000.
What's $180,000 a year?
The rent. And then it cost him $600,000 to do it up. And then we got 30 clients the other week, last month from China, but then the government knocked back 27 visas because they got money offshore and they couldn't fucking work out that it was their money. And Australia's very anal. It comes from a penal colony. And basically, he's losing money big time now. He didn't factor that in. And I said, you could use my office for free, my rooms. He says, no, we need a good office. He's fucking going grey. He's smoking outside. He's got 3 young kids.
Well, I mean, is Zen helping him out any?
He's not up to that. I said it to
if anybody knows how Zen can pay my expenses here at the castle on a monthly basis, please email me. You can call Director Kim. Just dial. We're in the book. Just Director Kim, and we'll hook you up, and my payments will get paid with the Zen.
Dan, I said, let's do our Oscar today.
No. I mean, Brian Rose actually has convinced some people wrongfully. I got Dan almost there for the ayahuasca. And I get stuff on my website. They email the website. And what do you mean almost where? I mean, that's not going to happen. But as part of your due diligence, you're going to need to know, as he said, the reason why he's buying companies is because of transfer licenses and all these things. And the hardest, not the most difficult, not the hardest, the most difficult is substance abuse. When you have to have, therapists for substance abuse and that kind of, there's a lot of, and certain states are harder than others. New Jersey is really hard. California is really hard.
So why do you buy companies and shares rather than the...
Because to reapply for the licenses could be 6 to 36 months. Okay? It's just easier to buy the company with a license. But you got to make sure, and the lawyers check that it's transferable. Not all licenses are transferable. And the owners will lie to you. Now, Sally says they're not lying on purpose. They just thought they were transferable. Well, I know better. They knew they weren't transferable, and they told you anyway. Because when you don't do a real in-depth due diligence and know what you're looking for, you'd miss that. And I tell you, next time you go into the doctor's office, you know how they have these things on the wall? Check the date. You'll be surprised that, it's like, all the fire hydrants in the UK have to be checked every other year, and there's a stamp on them. And you go to some hotels and you see the stamp 9 years old, Well, it's the same with professional licensing. It's not, and sometimes to get the professional licensing updated, the docs, etc., have to go to a course. The accountants have to go to a course. Yeah, exactly. And some of the docs don't want to, or they don't have time, or whatever.
Continuing education.
Yeah, thank you. It's continuing education. Is that Chinese tea you're drinking?
Water.
Oh, water. Okay. Yeah, I noticed we got 2 or 3 warm water people in here. We got 3 or 4 of you that are intermittent fasting. You're not having lunch. I'll piss on all your graves. Believe me. I've been burying assholes like you since I'm 20 years old.
What about coming on the grave?
Yeah, well, no, I'm not going to jack off on you, but it's unbelievable. Now I'll get some shit on you. Cat will get some you shit about, we're talking vulgar and shit like that. But if you're tuned in to me on YouTube and you don't expect vulgarity, what are you smoking? I mean, you must have early onset dementia. I mean, you must have got me mixed up with somebody else. But, huh? Okay, any questions about Josh? About Josh? Other than, he still looks to me young. I mean, to me, he still looks young. Okay, see you later, YouTube.